Hey Adventures, so today is going to be once more a Poetry Thursday video, and at the moment it's going to be the last one that I do for a little bit, and it's the last Tolkien poem that I'm going to do, but I'm sure there will be more as I continue reading and as I continue reading Tolkien and whatnot. But for now, this is going to be the last one that I do, and this is going to be The Man in the Moon Came Down Too Soon. So as you may remember, several weeks ago now, I brought The Man on the Moon Stayed Up Too Late as my entry to Poetry Thursday, and The Man in the Moon Came Down Too Soon is kind of like a sequel to that poem. So I'm going to be doing kind of like a sequel to that video. And I don't know, it's been a long time since I've read this one, so we will see what happens as I read it, but I think it'll be fun. And I had to find this in Tales from the Perilous Realm because it's not in The Lord of the Rings. It's just another poem written by Tolkien that happens to kind of go along that, or it's part of the Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which is just a collection of poems, very fantasy-like poems, a lot of them having to do with Tom Bombadil himself, but I don't really have a whole lot to say because I haven't actually read this whole, or I haven't read the Adventures of Tom Bombadil all the way through yet. So, The Man in the Moon Came Down Too Soon. The man in the moon had silver shoon, and his beard was of silver thread, with opals crowned and pearls all bound about his girdlestead. In his mantle gray he walked one day across a shining floor, and with crystal key and secrecy he opened an ivory door. On a filigree stair of glimmering hair, then lightly down he went, and merry was he at last to be free, on a mad adventure bent. In diamonds white he had lost delight, he was tired of his minaret, of tall moonstone that towered alone on a lunar mountain set. He would dare any peril for ruby and beryl, to broider his pale attire, for new diadems of lustrous gems, emerald and sapphire. He was lonely too, with nothing to do but stare at the world of gold, and hark to the hum that would distantly come as gaily round it rolled. At plenilune, in his argent moon, in his heart he longed for fire, not the limpid lights of wan selenites, for red was his desire, for crimson and rose and ember glows, for flame with burning tongue, for the scarlet skies and the swift sunrise when a stormy day is young. He'd have seas of blues and the living hues of forests green and fen, and he yearned for the mirth of the populous earth and the sanguine blood of men. He coveted song and laughter long, and viands hot and wine, eating pearly cakes with light snowflakes and drinking thin moonshine. He twinkled his feet as he thought of the meat of pepper and punch galore, and he tripped unaware on his slanting stair, and like a meteor, a star in flight ere Yule one night, flickering down he fell, from his laddery path to a foaming bath in the windy bay of Bell. He began to think, lest he melt and sink, what in the moon to do, when a fisherman's boat found him far afloat, to the amazement of the crew. Caught in their net all shimmering wet, in a phosphorescent sheen of bluey whites and opal lights and delicate liquid green. Against his wish, with the morning fish, they packed him back to land. You had best get a bed in an inn, they said, the town is near at hand. Only the knell of one slow bell, high on the seaward tower, announced the news of the moonsick cruise at that unseemly hour. Not a hearth was laid, not a breakfast made, and dawn was cold and damp. There were ashes for fire, for grass the mire, for the sun a smoking lamp. In a dim back street not a man did he meet, no voice was raised in song. There were snores instead, for all folk were abed, and still would slumber long. He knocked as he passed on doors locked fast, and called and cried in vain, till he came to an inn that had light within, and he tapped at a window pane. A drowsy cook gave a surly look, and "What do you want?" said he. "I want fire and gold and songs of old and red wine flowing free." "You won't get them here," said the cook with a leer, "but you may come inside. Silver I lack and silk to my back, maybe I'll let you bide." A silver gift, the latch to lift, a pearl to pass the door. For a seat by the cook in an ingle nook, it cost him 20 more. For hunger and drouth, not past his mouth, till he gave both crown and cloak, and all that he got in an earthen pot, broken and black with smoke, was porridge cold and 2 days old, to eat with a wooden spoon. For puddings of Yule with plums, poor fool, he arrived so much too soon, an unwary guest on a lunatic quest from the mountains of the moon. So that is The Man in the Moon Came Down Too Soon. And as you see, it doesn't really have anything to do with The Man in the Moon Stayed Up Too Late. But it is a fun poem, and it's just, the reason why I say it's kind of like a sequel to that poem is because within The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, we have The Man in the Moon Stayed Up Too Late as poem number 5, and then poem number 6 is The Man in the Moon Came Down Too Soon. So that's why I kind of call it a sequel. It's not really, but it's still kind of fun. And I'm sure if I had read it more often and could read it with a little bit faster speed and a little bit more flow to it, then it would probably be just as fun and just as upbeat as The Man in the Moon Stayed Up Too Late. I'm sure it would be just as fun and just as interesting and just a really great poem. I mean, I really enjoyed reading the poem because it's one that I don't know that well, but I just really enjoyed it. I don't know, I really enjoy reading Tolkien's poetry, as I'm sure you know, because I've brought several Tolkien poems now for Poetry Thursday. But I think that's going to be it for Poetry Thursday for at least the immediate future. I've got some tags that I need to catch up on and stuff like that. So that's kind of my plan going forward for the next couple of Thursdays at least, to see how long that takes me and what ends up happening, because yeah, we'll just see what happens. But thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday. We have our social medias linked in the description down below. Please like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you guys again soon. Stay warm.